Good day, my billionaire friends. I hope you're comfortable. Welcome back to my channel, Pips and Profit, and I'm going to be taking you through the weekly outlook. We're going to be seeing what has happened in the markets for major currencies in this just concluded week, and we're going to also be looking at what I intend to see play out in the market next week. What we expected to see this week actually played out, especially on the dollar and on the GBPUSD. Okay, so last week was the close of last month. All right, and all the things we speculated were going to happen last week, they all played out accordingly. All right, so if you stay to the end of this video, we're going to also be showing you what I expect to see going into next week and the projections that I'm going to be having for next week, so that we can all profit from my knowledge. All right, so moving straight to the chart, on the monthly time frame. By the way, we just opened a new month candle. We're in the month of September. Right, so looking at the previous month, we said that after this rejection from this discount level here in price on the month of July, we wanted to see an expansion in the month of August, which actually played out. Okay, there was an expansion in the month of August. The month of August expanded, and if we zoom in clearly, we can see that the month of August closed above the high of July. That is a very, very key and important point. For the month of August to close above the high of July, it is signifying that we are clearly bullish on the dollar. Okay, and our thesis are going to be playing out on the dollar. Now, September started just yesterday, and at the start of September, we're already seeing an expansion to the upside. Okay, so overall, on the monthly time frame for the dollar, I've always been bullish. Okay, so dollar is bullish on the monthly time frame. We can step down to the weekly time frame, and for last week, for this concluded week, I said in the previous video, if you can see in the card on the top right corner of this video, you can see a link to the previous video where we said that we expected the dollar to retrace. The reason being that the week before this week, we saw an expansion that broke structure. And after this expansion that broke structure, the candle closed way above this last sell structure. And for that reason, we have seen an expansion and a break of structure. And anytime there's an expansion that caused a break of structure, what we expect to see following that is a retracement into some level of internal liquidity. Okay, so this this week just retraced into this internal liquidity. If you can zoom in very clearly, you will see that there is a fair value gap right here between this candle. I can mark that right away. This candle right here and the candle after this particular candle here. Okay, so there's an expansion between these two candles that are pointed right here. I beg your pardon. Let me make that clearly for you. Between these two candles right here, there's an expansion. Okay, this is candle 1 and this is candle 3. Okay, between the two of them, there is a fair value gap residing right here, and that is what this week's candle traded into. That is the internal liquidity that this week's candle traded into. Okay, so this week candle traded into this internal liquidity, and after which I said I was expecting an expansion to the upside. Okay, so looking into next week, I expect an expansion to take out this high right here. An expansion to take out this high right here. Don't worry about this other rectangle here. I'm going to be showing you the significance of this rectangle right here. So my expectations for next week is for price to trade into this high and give a retracement. Trade into this high right here, above it, and give a retracement. This is what I'm expecting for the dollar going into next week. Let's get more data on the daily time frame. Now, looking at the daily time frame, seeing where price is coming from, now you know where this rectangle originated from. It's a fair value gap on the weekly. So for next week, I want to see price create a fair value gap. The next week's candle, especially Monday or Tuesday candle, Monday's candle should create a fair value gap. All right, by the way, Monday is the US bank holiday, so we may not see so much volatility in the market for Monday. So we're expecting a quiet Monday. The retail traders are going to be doing their thing on Monday, while the institutions are going to resume on Tuesday. Okay, that's for the fundamental part of Monday's trading, so you should take note of that. Okay, so for Monday going into Tuesday, for the first half of next week, I want to see an expansion to take out this high and this high, and then for the closing of next week, I want to see some retracement into the fair value gaps that are going to be created when the market moves all the way up here. Okay, so this is my projection for the dollar going into next week. The 4-hourly time frame, we expect it to do similar thing as the daily time frame. We expect the 4-hourly time frame to do just the same thing that the daily time frame is going to be doing on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, so look at how the retracement sold all the way down to this place for this week, and the expansion has already started. Okay, so for next week, I'm going to be long on the dollar, looking at these two levels that I've explained to you. The first level is 104 spots 450 levels. 104 spots 450 levels. The second point is 104.720 levels. These are the two spots I'm expecting the dollar to trade into. That is the draw on liquidity on the dollar. You can also see this volume imbalance residing right here. The imbalance between this candle and this candle. Look at it right here at the left hand side where my mouse pointer is. These two candles, there's a volume imbalance there, so I expect price to trade into it. If there's enough momentum or enough liquidity for price going into next week, I expect it to buy all the way up here. Okay, so I expect the dollar to do this next week and buy all the way up here. This is my expectation for the dollar going into next week. Enough said for the dollar. Let's move straight to GBPUSD. We're looking at the monthly. Similar thing, the inverse is what is happening on the monthly time frame. For GBPUSD, the monthly is clearly bearish. All we have been seeing for the past few couple of weeks, for the past couple of months, has been a retracement, and it looks like the retracement has ended, and we're going to start the expansion to the downside. Okay, so the GBPUSD is heavily bearish and it has a long way to go. So I'm going to be short on the GBPUSD going into the remaining part of this year. Okay, so into the weekly, price is taking out this structure right here. Price is taking out that low, the low residing right here. We took it out last week, and this week, just like the dollar, we expected a retracement, which it clearly did. Okay, so price is taking out this low right here, showing us a break of structure to the downside. Okay, so into this week, we expected a retracement and then an expansion back downward, which is what we saw. Going into next week, there's another block residing right here. I expect price to trade into this other block residing right here. This is the next draw on liquidity for GBPUSD. Okay, so I expect it to sell down all the way to this place on the weekly. Okay, looking at the daily time frame, clearly the break of structure has happened. The last buy structure has been taken out, and the candle close below it. Okay, you can look at it right here. From here, extending it all the way to the right, you can see that the daily candle right here for Friday, the 25th of August, closed below this last bullish structure for GBPUSD. So we are heavily bullish or heavily bearish on GBPUSD. Price retraced into this other block right here for the most of last week. Okay, for the most of this just concluded week, price retraced into this other block, which is one of our projections from the last video we shot. So we expected price to retrace all the way here and then continue selling. So for Monday, which was quiet for the dollar, Tuesday and Wednesday we saw a couple of fundamentals that came out bad for the dollar, and price moved all the way up here. But then we saw the non-farm payroll and consumer confidence that came out good for the dollar. Non-farm payroll came out actually higher than expected, and that was good news for the dollar. And as it's good news for the dollar, the inverse is what we expected to see on GBPUSD. So for the most of Thursday and Friday, I was short GBPUSD. Okay, and going into next week, I'm going to be taking more short positions on GBPUSD. And the following places I might draw on liquidity on GBPUSD. One is this immediate low, which is the easiest, and the second one after this is this weekly fair value gap. So I expect the GBPUSD to trade all the way into this weekly fair value gap going into next week. Okay, so that's some decent expansion to the downside. It's about 100 pip. I expect it to retrace to sell into this place before it starts retracing into the fair value gaps is going to be creating while it's expanding to the downside. Okay, so a quick peek into the euro looks like it's already taken out this low. It's clearly bearish. The euro is clearly bearish on the daily time frame. So after taking out this low, the next place I expect the euro is to come and take out this low right here. Okay, euro also has a weekly order block point, so has already traded into it. So the next draw on liquidity is going to be for price on the euro to sell, to take out this pool of liquidity, all these lows residing right here, and then give some decent retracement into fair value gaps is going to be creating. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful. Until we see again next week, I hope the pips is going to be in our favor. Until we see next week, I wish you good luck and good trading, guys. Cheers and God bless.